And I want to begin this broadcast with an exclusive, India Today exclusive news break. Did George Soros try to scuttle the Rafale aircraft deal? Remember, these fighter jets desperately required by the Indian Air Force in a very critical period. But was there an attempt made to derail this deal? Legal advocacy group Sherpa sought a judicial investigation into the Rafale deal, and this legal advocacy group Sherpa is linked to a George Soros group. Sherpa lists Soros's Open Society Foundation as a support ground on its website. Is this more evidence of an attempt by George Soros to destabilize India, and does that stand completely exposed? I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Shiv Arur for more on this big story. Shiv, explain the link between Sherpa and the Rafale deal. Was it an attempt to scuttle the procurement of the 36 fighter jets so desperately needed by the Indian Air Force?
Here are the facts. Sherpa is a strategic litigation and advocacy group that is partially funded by the NGOs of George Soros. And one of the main high-profile things it did in 2018 and 2019 was to petition the National Fraud Office, the Financial Investigation Office of the French government, to investigate the Indian Rafale deal of 2016. This was in the wake of certain reports in Mediapart, which is an investigations website in France. Now, obviously nothing came of it, but around the time that Sherpa took up this petition with the French office, it is around that time that Rahul Gandhi, at the fag end of the Gujarat elections, began to talk about the Rafale deal. Now, I'm not making that direct link, even though George Soros's vice president in India, was walking with Rahul Gandhi at the Bharat Jodo Yatra in October. But the very fact that Sherpa saw good reason to pick up the Rafale issue, make it a big petition, publicize it in a big way, and then see it almost dominate the 2018-2019 political campaign of the opposition, chiefly the Congress party, appears to, suggest some kind of a link. Did the Congress simply see it and pick it up from there? Remember, the Rafale deal, the Rafale campaign, many people have written about it, and it is well known that many of the things that came out of the investigation, some of the leaked papers, etc., Gaurav, had actually come from competitors of the Rafale.
Yes.
So it wasn't a clean sort of campaign. The allegations never established any so-called money trail. Many of the allegations that were thrown were, of a innuendo and political nature. So what exactly is it? Was George Soros's Sherpa Associates the trigger for what became a larger campaign, which was then widely discredited?
Shiv, is then there merit in the government saying this is war against India? George Soros, anyway, according to the government, very clearly is a designated economic offender in the United Kingdom and has a history of accusations of interfering in democracies, including in Israel. Is he following the same template in India, Shiv?
Israel, the United Kingdom and several other democratic nations, Gaurav, and given that, funds to the tune of, over $12 million have apparently been spent in the last couple of years, towards this very ambiguous heading of, democracy movements, etc. here in India, one wonders what exactly this funding is going into, because there are very few specifics on the Open Society Foundation website about what manner of work is actually being done. The fact that George Soros's organizations have dabbled in politics is not new, because he has very strong political views. He has often called democratically elected governments fascist governments, as he is almost doing in this particular case with India. So his views have become more and more extreme, more and more polarizing over the years. But it is the facts and figures, the dollars and cents, that will finally count. What kind of activities, movements, mobilizations is his money actually triggering here in India, a country that happens to be the world's largest democracy? I think that needs to be looked at much, much more closely.